Hello folks, welcome back. Day 2, painting grub using a wet palette. So paints have split overnight. Is this down to how I've stored them, literally just on a wet palette overnight, or is it, just Games Workshop paints not being particularly good? I think that when I get paid, the first thing I'm going to do is treat myself to some better paints. These seem actually really quite thinned out here already. So is that from the wet palette itself? Is it the properties of the paints? Because some of these are really quite thick in the pot. Anyway, I'm just going to have to get these sorted before we can start looking at grub again. But I just thought I'd start the video with this. Really, a bit disappointing, but never mind. Mixing together again pretty quickly, no problem there. So let's crack on with grub. So somewhat frustratingly, the footage I made after the previous segment basically didn't save properly on my phone. I use an old phone for these recordings, just so it's a bit more convenient. So, but yeah, that's backfired a little bit today. So basically, we've got a few steps here that I've done with grub. See there, a bit of mixing, bit of dirt. This is all dried out somewhat spectacularly so far today. So it's still definitely a learning curve. Just finding out the right amount of water on the wet palette base and everything. But I think I'm quite happy with him so far. Again, found myself similar to what I did with Gotch Gut. I was finding myself probably spending a bit too much time blending layers that you can't necessarily really see. But I'm gonna have to go do a bit more work on his shell, maybe like thin that out, bring that down a little bit. But otherwise, I think I'm quite happy with him so far. So tomorrow I'll pick up, start picking out his goofy little eyes, his little beak. We'll get some more details on his hat, and we might make a start on the non-metallic metal. Or I might leave that right till the very end. I originally had painted his little furry scarf sash thing orange, but it just really wasn't working, so I'm gonna have to go a slightly different way with that. I've picked his wings out with some white scar, ready to give them like an iridescent sort of effect, hopefully. So yeah, much shorter today, but see, like quite a bit of progress there. Really happy with that. And yeah, it's just mixing a little bit of green, a little bit of purple, and a little bit of Wraithbone. And we're getting all these cool little layers. One thing I should add is before I started highlighting the skin up, I took the Xerius purple, thinned it out a load, and then just gave him a wash all over his green bits. And I took the pink and again thinned it out loads, and then just washed that over his pinky heady bits. And yeah, started highlighting up with a little bit of green, a little bit of Wraithbone mixed through, a little bit of light green, and we are where we are with him. So yeah, really quite happy so far.